Hello, lords and ladies, it's me, Private Yorkie, back from the front. It's crazy out there. Heading back for some more Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, where we've got to finish chatting to people at the tavern, and then see where we go from there. Let's get the music back on. When I'm on my own, I tend to have the music off. There we are. And then let's load. That's mine. Kinnear. The reason I have the music off of my own, just so you know, it doesn't really matter, but my wife's home from hospital, as you know. I need to be able to hear her better. It's okay, you know, when I'm recording, but otherwise it goes off. Right, now then. Have a word with Camellia, shall we? Camellia looks you over pensively, toying with a snake-shaped bone amulet that dangles from her pale neck. Noticing your glance, she flashes you a cold, barely there smile. Greetings! It seems for a moment that she wants to say something else, but the pause grows too long and she slips back into cautious silence. Tell me about yourself. You want to know more about me than you already do? Why? Camellia arches her dainty brow. I talk to the spirits of this tormented land and they guide me in battle. I'll help you fight the demons, and I swear that you can rely on me in the matter. Isn't that sufficient? Where'd you learn to wield a rapier so well? I had good teachers, although they don't get all the credit. I am a most diligent student. Camellia licks her parched lips. Your speech tells me you're of noble birth. Camellia laughs, a practiced musical laugh, as she watches you from under lowered lashes. You're most insightful. A fine quality to have. Camelia's laughter ends and unspoken words hang in the silence. Forgive me if my questions disturb you. I couldn't resist such a noble and beautiful lady. I'll stop bothering you. Not at all, our conversation is quite an exquisite delight. Camellia affords you a brief friendly smile in appreciation of your manners. Now, she's not romanceable because she only goes for fellas. And I'm playing a woman, Kinnear. Your amulet is quite new to you. Where did you get it? Ah, my little trinket. It's so nice of you to notice, but I assure you this amulet is nothing but a bauble. Can a lady not be drawn to beautiful, useless things? Well, my wife is. Well, I don't know that I'm beautiful. Useless? Yes. Beautiful? Not so much. Anyway, as much as I enjoy our delightful conversations, the spirits are calling me, and I must respond. Please excuse me. Camellia turns away, watching you out the corner of her eye. I don't think there's anything else that I need to say. Nope. Farewell. Can't remember if I did Staunton. I think I did. Yes, I did. Alright. He's a useless bugger. I don't really care about him. Lan. Lan greets you with a nod. Here for a chat. I've been waiting for you to come and see what strange beast you've taken into your party. I'd like to know more about you. Let me guess, your first question is, can you wear a hat with one horn? Am I right? You speak common much... No, you're not. You speak common much better than the rest of your tribe. Well, it's an observation. Funnily enough, common isn't all that common underground, Lan says. But your observation is correct. I used to live on the surface with my parents for a while, and had a chance to learn a couple of things. The language and the fact that every peasant who sees my scaly mug screams demon and runs away. I don't know if you're interested, but my mum wasn't from an underground tribe. She was a smuggler. The kind that used to use the dungeons of Canabres to secretly move and store goods. One time, two gangs couldn't agree on how to share a prime cut. Got into a fight and the winners threw the losers down the hole, dead and living alike. My dad went to check if the corpse had anything useful on them and he found a girl from the surface, barely clinging to life. An incredible feeling sparked between them. Rescuer syndrome. Or maybe, or hero syndrome, whichever way you want to look at it. Or maybe the girl just liked men with scales and a cat nose. That might be it. One way or another, he got her back on her feet, and he later even left his home caves. She left her smuggling behind, and they began an honest life together. That's a delightful story of how all land came into this world. The next chapter, however, my family and I had never stayed in one place for long. We lived sometimes on the surface, sometimes underground. We couldn't find a place to call home. Living in the caves was so hard on my mum, and my dad's appearance raised too many questions in Mendev. They're at war against demons after all. In the end, my parents decided to stop making each other miserable and separated. My father and I returned to our tribe. I think the peasant screaming demon had something to do with it. Or maybe Dad just couldn't stand life without rat tail soup. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. Did you come with me so you could see the surface again? No, that wasn't it. I just don't have much patience for certain types of creatures. Demons, I mean. If they want to destroy Canabres, I'll be on the side of the people they're attacking. I don't like it when my subordinates hide, but I don't want to upset him because he's romanceable. Sounds like a... no. Lan, you're my companion. Companions should trust each other. Counting on you to give me honest answers, not excuses. Man looks ashamed. I guess you're right. I shouldn't have been so evasive. It's just that some things are hard to talk about. My family, for example. My birth, turned out to be a great misfortune for my parents, all because I'm relatively healthy. And the best thing that can come from a marriage between a cave-dwelling mongrel and anyone from the surface. A healthy child, with the right number of hands and feet, no apparent defects, no missing organs, or other problems. They saw hope in me, so risked having more children. They thought it would somehow be alright. The growl edges into Lan's voice. I could have had 4 brothers. The first was born 2 years after me and died 3 years later. He didn't have a nose. Nothing even remotely resembling one. He could only breathe through his mouth. Mum and Dad were afraid to take their eyes off him for fear he'd choke and suffocate on something. But in the end it was his weak heart that killed him. Then there was another pregnancy and birth. I pretended I was sleeping but snuck out in my bedroom and listened under the door. All those hours it was very strange. But I never heard the newborn screaming. Mum moaning, yes. The priest praying. Then I dared open the door a little and looked inside. The priest stood there very, very pale. One of them was holding something, a small object that fit in his palm. He said, do you know what this is? And the other said, I think it's a head. Ooh. Lan stops. Please go on. Lan pauses, exhales and continues in a steadier voice. It turned out that this time Mum was expecting triplets. The first of the baby was born in pieces. Ew. And the other 2 didn't live long enough to draw their first breath. About 3 weeks later, my father took me to the caves. He didn't want to leave, I could see it in his face, but I think my mum and he decided it together. The curse my people have carried since the first crusade stood between them. Not to mention the 4 dead babies. And old age was rapidly taking its toll on my father. After he returned to the cave, he only lived another 4 years. So if you're asking me why I decided to go up with you to the surface and join the Crusaders, well, the answer is I've always wanted to. I was afraid to leave my tribe, but it always haunted me that I'd die in a world where 4 crusades could do nothing to stop the beast from the abyss, and the number of victims kept growing. I want to change that, or at least try to. And if changing things is too much to ask, then at least get a little revenge. The ones who are behind the world wound owe me a great debt. The lives of 4 brothers, all my mother's tears, my father's broken heart. It's a lot. It's so much that killing a couple of demons won't do it for me. I want to do something real and I'm ready to pay any price. Call it a personal crusade if you like. Lan gives you a slanted grin. I used to think that things would be better if I'd never been born. But now I think I was born for this, to settle the score. Why didn't you go up and join the Crusaders before then? I couldn't just abandon my tribe, I'm the best hunter. Well, you've done it now. They'll have it much harder without me, but now the demons have nearly destroyed Canabres, and the caves almost collapsed on our heads. Sitting and waiting, okay, that's fair. Wasn't just an option. Anyway, I'm more useful up here than I am down there. Plus the chief let me go, which means my debt to the tribe has been paid. Would you like to find your mother? No. The word flies from Lan's mouth faster than an arrow. Then after a pause he continues, I don't want to meet her, not because I feel any resentment. It's just she's a half-elf. She's barely got her first grey hair, and I'll be a ramshackle old man. She's buried enough children, then there's no need to make her witness the death of another one. I hope you understand. I'm very sorry, truly. Lan smiles, this time sadly. Well then, I'm very lucky. I met someone who's not only helped me choose the right path, but also happy to listen to my whining. Not whining. Your parents' love didn't survive the hardship. That doesn't mean the same thing will happen to you. What if you find true love? Someone who won't leave you no matter what? And break my beloved heart when I die in her arms 5 years later? That's a fine thing to do to the person you love. Then again, there's a chance I'll inspire some tragic bard to write a tearful ballad. Oh, grow the hell up, Lan. You don't get to choose whether it's good for someone else. You can be with someone for a year and watch him die, and there can still be an incredible amount of love, and that you wouldn't have given up even for all the pain. Grow up. Thanks for sharing, Lan. Thanks for listening. Tell me a story again. We don't need that. We already heard it. Just clear it off there so it's not lit. Mongrels have short lifespans, but you don't look like you're getting old dying. How old are you? Lan chuckles. I'm as old as I look, no surprises there. But remember Sol? He's 10 years older than me. I remember him back when he was a fearless warrior. And day by day I watched him turn into an old man. Him and my father. It happens very quickly. First, you miss a shot because you don't see the target as clear as you used to. You think it's because your eyes are tired. You tell yourself it'll get better tomorrow. Then you notice you're having trouble breathing, that climbing is harder than before. Lan clenches and unclenches his human fist. Your fingers stop bending. You have to tie your sword to your hand. You can't even put on your greaves without help. When you're washing your face in a stream, sometimes you catch sight of a grey-haired, wrinkled old man you don't recognise. And this goes on until one day you come across a cave beast and you realise you can't outrun it. Lan takes a breath. My dad kept diaries marking all the signs, and I saw it too. The last year, I had to help him get out of bed, help him dress, remind him to eat. Sometimes he forgot my name. I told him that we should have stayed on the surface, and he joked that dodging a goddess was behaviour unworthy of a crusader. He meant for asthma. Every morning, I wake up and check how I feel. There are no signs yet, even so. I know I don't have much time. I need to do something useful before I forget why I came here. Want to talk about Wendawag? Are you sure? Lan sighed. Alright. Tell me about your connection with Wendawag. My connection to Wendawag? I mean, where do I start? Lan turns the unexpressive reptile half of his face to you. We grew up together, trained together. She was the chief's daughter. She groomed to be the bestie all her life. And then I came along. We were rivals, but we dragged each other out of tight spots too. I've always been drawn to grand heroic gestures, sometimes idiotic ones. Whereas Wendu liked to roam unexplored passages, find new caves and making maps. She wanted to be a great huntress, the one to make it through the shield maze, but instead she... Magic said, it'd be better if she died. The death of a friend is painful, but watching a friend become a shadow of their former self is unbearable. She doesn't think she's a shadow of her former self. Of course, she thinks she did everything right, but the second she starts to doubt herself, she'll have to face the truth. To admit that she's just a cannibal that demons use as they wish. Lan's frown looks almost like a wince. She wants to get stronger and stronger, but for what? I'll never understand what drives her. We're just friends, or we're more than that? Wow, you really don't pull your punches, do you? Lan exhaled loudly. There was a time when I asked myself the same question. Wendawag knew me better than most. She understood me better than anyone. She was my first woman, but we never loved each other. Maybe I could have grown to love her, but it always seemed like she never understood what love was. Maybe she just wasn't capable of those kind of feelings. Too bad you and Wendawag didn't work out, but there's plenty of other women around who might like you. Me, for example. Huh? Lan laughs, and by coincidence turns the unexpressive scaly side of his face towards you. Don't joke like that. I almost believed you. A humble guy like me, a beautiful woman, could have wrapped around her little finger without even trying. Thanks, I found out what I wanted to know. Oh, as you said, can you wear a hat with one horn? I sure can. But certain designs don't suit me too well. Lan speaks in a deadly serious voice. Found out everything I wanted to know. Tell me about your people. What's it like in the caves? Oh, Lan gives you a broad smile. His face is strange as it falters where his human features meets animal ones. Imagine that the entire world is only a few hundred like you. There's not an inch of fertile ground anywhere. Nowhere to grow grain for bread or cotton for linen or for your clothes. Your neighbours are beasts who want to eat you, or parasites who want to infect you with their larvae and then eat you. And it's not that bad, because you can try and eat most of the things that are trying to eat you. Sometimes at the risk of getting poisoned, sometimes with no risk at all. In the worst years, there was not a single living thing anywhere to be found, predator or prey. That's when you eat mushroom soup. I'd say 3 times a day, but there was barely enough for once every 3 days. Lan shrugs. But life underground has its upsides. Pun intended. There was no risk of losing your roof over your head. There's no bad weather, not counting the earthquake, of course. Are you really the descendants of the first Crusaders? More like demon spawn, aren't we? Sad but true. Without the demons, there would be no mongrels. It's the magic of the world wound that affected our ancestors and made their children the way we are. Like most in our tribe, Chief Soul fancies himself a descendant of the Underground Crusaders, the ones our heroic ancestors left to guard the caves. I don't know if it's true or not. That angel came to our caves for a reason. Maybe he remembered us. Those were evil and dangerous times after the First Crusade. Hundreds of Crusaders began having children, and the babies were born with fangs and horns, and warts that covered half their face. People didn't like the new look. The Inquisitors sure didn't, so our ancestors fled persecution and made a home for themselves down there under the ground. They probably intended to find a cure for their children, and hoped to return in time, but it never happened. Instead, the world wound's terrible legacy was passed down from generation to generation. Mongrel parents can only guess what their children will look like. Each of us is born with a new mutation. Many mutations are fatal. Anne stops and goes on quietly. Down in the caves, we usually don't congratulate the family for the birth of a child until they turn at least 3. Most don't even get a name before that. There's no point. It hasn't been that long since the First Crusade. Why did you know so little about your ancestors? Our lives are much shorter than most uplanders. Up here, only a few generations passed, and many still live who remember old Sarkoris, and it stood untouched by demons. In Galfrey, for instance. But where we live, mongrels start getting old much earlier than humans, much faster, and with much more devastating consequences. Few live past 40, and fewer still live long enough to die of old age. Hunger, disease, and monsters from all the deeps are more effective killers than time. Though for us the story of the First Crusade is a legend that happened generations ago. There are no living witnesses. We have a tale of the wise and great ancestors who left us to stand guard at the catacombs. But in reality, I suspect they were desperate wretches who couldn't figure out how to dispel the demonic plague, and who were abandoned by their own kind. Do you have any way to tell day and night? You can't see the sun in your caves. Every mongrel settlement has a big gong, which we treat like a relic. The gong keeper hits it twice a day to mark the beginning and the end. But this custom doesn't keep time very precisely. Every mongrel child has snuck up to the gong to strike it at the wrong time, at least once. Just out of pure mischief. Nothing could keep me away from it, not even the fact that I only have one ear, which means it would take double the punishment once I was caught. So sometimes the wrong strikes get mixed in with the right ones, and the tribe can find itself jumping up to greet the morning in the middle of the night. The mongrel tribes fight each other. There were some skirmishes, and I've been forced to kill my kinfolk before too. Man speaks in a steady voice. Fights mostly break out over food, but we have laws in the caves, written and unwritten rules that we follow. We respect one another's right to live, but hunger, it can push a person over the edge. I've never you can count on that stolen someone else's kill, but I can understand those of my kin who tried. You hear the kids begging for food and not able to feed them is terrifying. He frowns and goes silent. You're the only member of the Nizom tribe to call your people mongrels. Why is that? Because all of Golarion calls us that? I don't see the point of all this hemming and hawing over what we're called. Anyone who finds it offensive or takes issue with it can lead a charge against the name. No one's stopping them, but personally I'm not going to pick a fight over something as unimportant as a name. Thank you, I found out everything I need to know. What do you think of life on the surface? It must be very different from life on the ground. Of course! As far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to be. It's easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house, and even grow a few things. In older, well-established settlements, you don't have to deal with anything scarier than rats, or maybe foxes stealing chickens. As for the kind of lives you have, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while the others watched. Well, there were some brave Crusader knights nearby and they killed the villains and saved everyone. And I heard another story. A young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire. Couldn't work to feed his wife and baby. They tried their best and lived from hand to mouth, but they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveller one night on the road. There were some brief crusader knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long after, his wife smothered their baby and hanged herself. Up here, the same person proudly says protecting the innocent from demons, and then look the other day while some innocent starves just because they were born into a poor family. Queen Galfrey prolongs her life with sun orchid elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. Back in our caves, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We don't abandon our own in times of trouble. That's the power of the tribe. The laws of the surface are made so that some get everything and others get nothing. I might just be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less. Yeah, many have said that about some of the nations of the world. Anyway, look who's talking. Oh, look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do. We're in a struggle for our very survival against the abyss. There's no time to upend society in a quest for fairness. So you think if the world wound hadn't happened, the surface would already have changed for the better? I'm not so sure. I'm not even sure my kinfolk wouldn't find their way into inventing their own aristocracy, if they ever got their hands on anything valuable enough to divide unfairly. What's the point of being prince of all the caves, halls and gorges if your only throne is a boulder, and your only crown is made of rat skulls? You said you were prepared to risk your life to do something meaningful. What exactly did you mean? To invent a new salad and have it named after me, Lan remarks grimly. Then he says, truth be told, I don't know. It would be much easier if all I really wanted to do was kill demons. Then a few more demons, then more demons after that. Good honest rage with no needless brooding. I think I actually envy the warriors who can live like that. But I can't. If life's taught me anything, it's that there are no easy choices. Dying a glorious death isn't enough. Some heroes of the Crusades did that and also saved entire settlements. Erected wall stones. Their actions kept the lands of Mendev safe for decades. That's what I want. For my dumb short life to have meant something. You think I have an exaggerated opinion of myself? Some scaly freak crawls out of the caves and wants to take control of the wall stones and flaunt Iomede's banner? Any fool can charge at the front lines of the demonic armies and die there. What good will it do? I want something meaningful, you know. Even if I have to pay the highest price, especially if I have to pay it for it. There are plenty of worthier people who need to survive this war and tell everyone else what nutcases we were. Thank you for your answer so long. Alright, so that's got all of them done. Now from a previous run, I know that I want to talk to him later. So I want to do all the talking to him at the same time. Hang on, need to do something here. Be right with you. Sometimes it stops reading my keyboard, so I just have to go use it on another window, and it starts working again. I don't know what's causing that. It's annoying as hell, but I don't know what's causing it. A tall, fragile-looking elf sits in front of you, eyes closed. He's pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in a blood-stained bandage. You spot the bandages on his body, runs his clothes, but even in such a miserable state, he manages to keep calm. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, I am Fawn Autumnhaze, at your service. His pale lips are reddened by blood, but you see no sign of pain or fear in his grey eyes. Do you need help? After giving you a cold, intense look, he shakes his head. Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wound and the poison delivered through them. Who are you? My name is Fawn Autumnhaze. I come here from Keonin because I am a hunter and all Minions people are my quarry. I won't say more than that if you don't mind. We are strangers and of different races and cultures. I'd rather not tell you more than is necessary. Who wounded you? A sailor and accomplice of demons. The quarry I am hunting in this inhospitable place. I'm Kinia, you can trust me. I might be able to help you. After a pause, Fawn says it would be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. Who's your quarry? I was hunting a fugitive and discreet by the name of K. Lesser. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch up with Incanabris and I wounded her. The demons appeared and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free a soul from its service of the Dark Masters. He expresses no anger or hatred, as he speaks, only compassionate sorrow. I'm sorry for me of misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently next time. He pursed his lips. There is no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world and other races, and we learn our lessons better than anyone. That goes for learning of our mistakes as well. I survived, which means I will be more prepared when we meet. I wish to aid you in your hunt. Thorn covers his eyes warily. I thank you, but this is my mission, and I'm used to facing it all manner of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help. If you happen to meet K. Lesser, take caution. She has turned away many innocent souls to the path of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that. It is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare, her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She's more monster than elf at this point. Failed a world check. Her skin is dark, her hair preternaturally white. Her red eyes can see perfectly in the dark, which to my dismay I've come to know from experience. But bright light causes a kind pain. I used an alchemical powder that explodes in a dazzling flash. And she cried out as if I stabbed her. Clearly this woman is a faithful servant of darkness. Marks of careless and massive. Let her appearance say as much. I'd like to know more about you. Too much reading on these things sometimes. I won't hold anything back. Not who I am, why I was made this way, or who it is that I'm pursuing. Tell me about yourself. Other people tend to believe that identity is the sum of a person's actions and the events that happen to them. For me, I am one of a long line of warriors of Kyonin, who since his youth has dedicated himself to hunting evil and justice. For them I am a successful and capable huntsman who has tracked down and slain many great monsters. But I am an elf, and for me my identity has a different meaning. It is shaped by the place where I was born and that I love so deeply. I am shaped by what I find beautiful and what makes my heart quicken. By the fears that come to me in the dead of night. By the things I find so tolerable that at the sight of them my very core darkens and filled with poison. Thus to tell you who I am I would require many days and much candour. It is more than you and I have at our disposal. Why did you become a hunter of evil? Because I am the son of a noble and proud nation. We are sometimes criticised for our arrogance. But no one dares doubt our honour. When a crime is committed, we cannot turn a blind eye. If we were to abandon our obligation to oppose evil, if we were to surrender this obligation to other races, we would also relinquish our preeminence. Remind me, who is this quarry? We already know who it is. Refresh my memory, we know that. No more questions. And I have to go. Fortune to you. Alright, down into the cellar. Basement. Surrender thy soul, Delvin. I'm their protectors. Haha, got you again. How many times is that today? Take your jocks and show them, tiefling. Oh, whoa there, easy chief, don't hit me. We got a fellow tiefling. Let's raid the cellar. Button won't budge. there we go. And what's that one? Luring charisma. I mean, our charisma's pretty crappy. We don't really need high charisma. Might as well use it for now.
Move out.
Now let's go have a word with this tiefling.
Hey, Chief! Ooh, hey, gorgeous. Come over here. I want to talk to you about something. Something really important.
The young tiefling sits cross-legged on the floor. He looks relatively calm for someone in shackles. With his tail whipped back and forth in agitation. Noticing your attention, the tiefling sits up and beckons you over.
Quit bothering the decent people in here, Woljif, or I'll knock your teeth out!
What's it to you, Delvin Dum-Dum? You were told to guard me, and I'm not stopping you. But no one told me I had to shut my trap.
Who are you?
Woljif Jeffdo. I deal in useful things. I can get you whatever you want. Anything. But there's just one problem.
The tiefling rattles his chains and gives you a meaningful look. What do you want from me?
I'll lay it out for you. Simple job, 30 minutes tops. We go someplace, talk to someone, and in return, whatever you want, I'll get it for you. Some extra rations? No problem. Armor, weapons, scrolls, you name it. It's as good as yours. If you need my help with something, whistle and I'll be there. I'm handy enough with knives too, and even my magic know-how isn't too shabby.
What a load of guff! If you were good at magic, you wouldn't be stuck in here now, would you?
Don't you listen to him, Chief. He'd find fault with the Queen herself. I'll be useful to have in battle, and I'll sell whatever you want at a reasonable price. It's your lucky day. You won't meet another gem like me in Canabras.
Why are you in chains though?
Does it really matter? Don't get hung up on the past, Chief. Don't look to the future. Live in the here and now.
Mindfulness. People say that's good.
He was caught thieving.
Avoiding the truth. People say that's bad. Your shadow, what was that?
Get me out of here and I'll tell you. And don't worry, it's not contagious.
I can't help you while you're chained up here. How can I free you?
That's easy. You know Irabeth? Feisty looking gal, always wears armor. You can't miss her. She's the meanest fighter in the whole city. When you see her, put in a good word for me, will ya? Tell her there's this guy, Woljif, locked up for no good reason in the Defender's Heart. Well, for the follies of his youth. And he really wants to get out on bail so he can keep up his good behavior and make a contribution to society. You got that? Will you do it?
Alright, I'll talk to her the best about your situation.
I knew I could count on you. Knew it the moment I laid eyes on you.
We'll talk later. Right, pop upstairs. Go chat with her best. The tiefling chained up in the Defender's Heart, what can you tell me about him? Arabeth shrugs scornfully. Woljif is a petty thief from a gang of tieflings operating in Canabras. That's what we call them in these parts. They tried to rob a vendor of magical items recently. Unfortunately, we apprehended only one of them and the rest managed to escape. We have nowhere to keep him, nowhere else to keep him apart from the Defender's Heart, but that's hardly a prison. Woljif knows it too. He's been begging for us for days to let him free or have someone vouch for him. He's already asked you to put in a good word, hasn't he? And Arabeth squints at you thoughtfully, then shrugs. If you want to recruit Woljif and put him to good use, go ahead and take him off our hands. We can ill afford to let our soldiers spend their days watching over a middling thief. I hope the tiefling proves useful, should you decide to take him along. Thank you, I have to go, bye. Right, back down.
Well, Chief, what do you got for me?
Woljif is sitting in the same place with his tail impatiently batting the floor. I've talked to her best and I've decided to make you part of my troop. We'll see how it goes.
Ah, you must be a smooth talker. Come on, Delvin, get these bracelets of yours off me. I'm going free.
Woljif leaps to his feet and gleefully rubs his hands.
You're sure to regret this. This tiefling will fleece you for everything you've got. Mark my words.
You're a bitter little man, Delvin. Petty and mean. You can't even be happy for me, can you? I pity you. I'll leave you alone with your sad little soul. So long. And now, Chief, straight down to business. You see, I'm one of those guys that people around here call tieflings. We just call ourselves the family. After we knocked over that shop and I got stuck here in the Defender's Heart, a little bird told me that Big Sister Charisme wanted to see me. That she had some questions to ask me. You following?
You're in trouble, in other words. Woljif is freed from his tackle and rubs his chafed wrist. He glanced around, making sure that no one is listening in.
Now, she won't be asking me questions like, Woljif, how'd you manage to get out of this one? Or, Woljif, you're so thin, didn't they feed you? No, something serious has gone down, and I just know they want to try to pin something on me. I can feel it in my tail. So, I knew right away that I couldn't go alone. You turned up just in time, Chief. You don't need to do anything when we get there. Just stand behind me and look mean, and I'll handle the rest. Somehow. Let's go. I'll show you the way.
No, you got to stay calm. You got to stay calm. No, not eat my hand. That's different. Eating my hand is not staying calm. No, nor is licking my lips. No. No, you're not licking my lips either. That's not a thing that's going to happen. I've seen what else you lick. You're not licking my lips, believe me. And there he is. Let's go talk to him. Woljif gives you a friendly wave. Hey, Chief, want to talk? I can't see the keyboard. Oh well, I can use the mouse, can I want to know more about you. How much is more? Are you family tieflings too? My family, it's an interesting story actually. But I don't tell it to just anyone. My father and mother had a bakery. Their life was great, but the gods never blessed them with any children. One day my mother went to the river to wash some clothes and saw a basket floating downstream. Inside the basket was a baby, adorable and chubby, and fast asleep. It was yours truly. In the hand was a note spritzed with expensive... You're not bloody Moses, okay? They raised me and said, yeah, that doesn't sound believable. I'm not even reading it. Seriously, usually everyone just believes everything I say. People love stories like that, you know. A cute baby, a basket, a blanket, and what's not to love. They look at me differently as if I'm worth more just because the sheets I spit up on might have had a fancy coat of arms on them. Woljif laughed bitterly. If I was really a prince, I wouldn't be sitting around here, I can tell you that much. I'd have already gone to take what was rightfully mine, and then I'd be home with the army. So I could watch the guards and merchants who pushed me around all my life bowing straight before me. That's not going to happen. Want the real story? The true story is boring. My family is human. Both my father and my mother. They used to... Dickie, you're being a pain. Settle down. Settle down, lie down, and be good. Try to be good for once in your life. Pinned to the wall and started talking. Let's see. When my ma had me, my old man got so mad he almost killed her. Pinned her to the wall and started asking questions like why his son had horns and a tail. Well, my ma told him that her mother, my grandmother, used to fool around with a demon. When he heard this, Daddy got drunk, trashed the house and then took off. I don't remember any of this, of course. My grandma told me. I was about 3 years old when my mother brought me to Canabris and left me with my grandma. She said to her, you and your demon have ruined my life. Now you can handle him. Then she left. I haven't seen her or my dad since. She did leave a blanket though, and that part was true. My grandma burned it because it was infested with lice. It wasn't even good enough to use as a rag. You think after all that my grandma saw the light and felt rightly ashamed and kissed my horns? I wish. Woljif grins nastily, his yellow eyes flashing. People used to give her trouble for fooling around with a demon. She wasn't welcome anywhere. So she got angry. Normal kids got bedtime stories, see, but the only tales I got told were how my dad was worthless, my ma was a slut, and I was a demon spawn that no one cared about. She only kept me so I could help around the house and steal things she needed. That's the truth. Well, we've heard it, but let's get that cleared off. How did you become a thiefling? Woljif grins happily. I already was a tiefling, and life made me a thief. I've been in this business since I was a kid. My grandma used to say, if you don't work, you don't eat, and she gave me as an apprentice to Iga, a tiefling neighbour of ours. He was a cunning old geezer. He knew how to make a purse off someone's belt, and how to cut open bags undetected, and even do some magic. I used to climb through basement windows and open doors from the inside, while I was still small enough. And when I grew and stopped fitting through the windows, I decided I was done with my education. I repaid my grandma for everything she'd done for me, which was absolutely nothing. Why would I feed her if she wasn't bringing in any money? If you don't work, you don't eat. So I took off. I got bored of my teacher too, but when I as much as hinted at leaving, said I owed him for my education, so I just nodded, and then I joined the Owlbears, the gang that ran our district, and I told them Igor was working their territory. I don't know what happened to him, but I stayed with the Owlbears. Then their leader started giving me the cold shoulder. I did steal from him, but not that much. So I had to rat them out to the guards. Then I joined the Golden Hands. That was a good time. Rich pickings. You can't be up and down, Tiki. I'm sorry, no. I would have stayed with the Golden Hands, but the Northmen promised me a bigger cut if I told them where the Golden Hands kept their loot. I'm no fool, of course, so I told them. After that, I only had one option. Join the Northmen, and then the family came. At first, no one took them seriously, calling them tieflings and all that. but I felt it right away. They had power behind them, and they had more money. I'm always on the winner's side, Chief. That's why I joined the tieflings. And right on time, some thugs came from the capital and made the Northmen leave. The ones who survived are in the family now too. Tell me about the tieflings. Alright, I won't tell you everything, mind. But I can tell you a little. The tieflings are Mendevian thieves. The gang was started in Mendev's capital by someone or other, and soon after it spread all over Golarion. They also called the family. You know why? Because us tieflings are easy to spot. Wherever we go, guards always hassle us asking, "Are you lost or something, Hornhead?" We usually say we're just visiting family, and they say, "Oh yeah, who?" You give them the name of a local tiefling who confirms everything even if he's never seen you before in his life. That's why we're all brothers and sisters. There are rules. Who does what, who gets what cut, and what takes a lot, but they make it worth your while. They'll even heal you if you take an arrow to the knee. I mean, if you take an arrow. Well, the biggest no-no is this. You don't steal from the family. If you don't contribute to the shared pot, you'll get the cold shoulder. You won't be treated like family no more. And then everyone will hear that you went to visit some relatives who have a farm someplace. My best guess? The farm is in some underground well beneath Canabres, where they breed grave worms. If Sister Charisme, our boss, looked the other way more often, I'd really be able to spread my wings. Nobody should live under constant threat of punishment. You could kill Charisme and take her place. Hold your flaps. Now there's an idea. Nice try, Chief, but I'm no killer. Never have been, and assassins are expensive. You know, they bumped up their prices last year. I asked a friend of mine why he charged so much. He says to me, "I've learned to see the true value of my work." I read in a book that whatever you think you're worth, that's what you learn. Can you believe it? I didn't even know the mug could read. So, I can't just have Charisma taken care of. It's too much trouble and no one will believe it. People respect her, mean as she is. What do you think of Canabres? It used to be such a hole. Then the Crusades and refugees came here, and things started looking up. Although it depends who you ask. I suppose witches better steer clear of here because Hermide's followers are ferocious. Especially Holrun Sabok, the local inquisitor. He's a tough old goat. I didn't see it myself, but a serving girl at the tavern told me that her second cousin's son from his third wife is a paladin, and he said that Holrun takes an unsheathed sword with him to the privy, and when he sleeps he puts it on the pillow next to him, and when it's in his cups he strokes the blade and whispers sweetly to it. You are my one true friend. You are the only one I can rely on. You're the best giving us a hard time too, will you? As much as look at some nice little bauble before you can think of taking it. Waving fingers even twitch. She's coming for you with a nostril flaring and fangs glinting. Scary woman. But even she's better than Sister Charisme. Our boss here in Canabres. By our, I mean the tiefling's boss. If you get caught by Erebeth, it's all out in the open. You go to prison or you end up with worm food. But if you step in Charisme's toes, poof, you're gone just like that. No one ever sees you again. All you'll hear is, he went to the family farm, even though he's never had a family. Or a farm. You have demon blood in you. Do you feel drawn to the abyss like I do? I mean, feel drawn to the abyss. But with anybody else asking, I keep my mouth shut, but you're a tiefling too. Yeah, I feel the pull sometimes. My mind starts buzzing with all kinds of thoughts, but it's all nonsense. I don't want to go to the abyss. I wouldn't last a second. Your shadow looks strange. What kind of magic is that? Ladies and gentlemen, roll up, roll up. No dark magic, no fraud. A trick without deception. Wolsey snaps his fingers and blue flame engulfs him. The shadow was previously laying calmly at his feet grows, floating in the air behind him. He's a shadow of a huge horned, winged demon with claws. Ta-da! It doesn't do anything. It looks scary. I remember when I was little, an old beggar showed me and my friend how to make puppets. You put your hands together in front of the light, and it makes a shadow of a deer or a dog or a dove on a wall. I tried so hard. I wanted to make the best shadow, and I did. It just happened. Wolsey chuckled sadly. Funnily enough, that's the last time I had any real friends. They tried to stone me later, screaming at me, calling me a demon. A tiefling. It's always a demon to these wimps. Even the lowest ranking drunken gnome thinks he's better than me just because he hasn't got horns or a tail. The poorest beggar in the filthiest gutter thinks he's better than me. Most people wouldn't show their shadow again after that first time, but I don't care. If you don't start flying again, I'll just run. I'm used to it by now. It looks formidable, I like it. Wolsey chuckled, pleased. What about the blue fire? That's my favourite part, and it doesn't burn at all. If I had a coin for every time I've caught a beating for my little show here, I'd already be proposing to Godfrey. But still, I don't want to give up something so beautiful. Tell me about your shadow again. Yep, we've seen all that. Enough, I want to ask you something else. I have to go. Let's go. And let's go to the tieflings area. So we're tieflings. We'll take care of that little quest. I do need to promote them though. Paladin. You can be a long sword. Shaman, Spirit Hunter, yes. Oh wait, what do you need to be to get the duelist again? Mobility 2 done. You need dodge, combat mobility. Alright. Weapon focus on rapier. Actually, no, what am I doing? I need dodge and combat mobility, don't I? Where's dodge? Where's combat mobility? Oh, it needs dodge to get that. Alright, that's fine. And Lan, you are our archer. Now, I did read somewhere that that's a good one for him to take for the many shot later. Right now, I want him on longbow. Oh, he's got longbow already. Doesn't have great weapon focus or weapon specialization. No, not there. When does weapon specialization come? Great weapon focus. That's fight of the blades. That's never going to happen. And specialization. Fight at level 4. So again, that's not going to happen. Alright. We'll take rapid shot, but we won't use it. Point blank master. With the longbow. Now he can use his wisdom modifier, which is where all the points are going to be going. Right, over to the tieflings hideout. Alright, nip over to the fallen horse first, get whatever's there. We'll evade right now because we just want to get this done. Oh yeah, we need to sell all the crap. The basement is dark and dank, and you are immediately struck by the hostility of the tieflings. Five of them are kneeling along the wall, separate from the rest. The tall woman who died, who had been cleaning fingernails with a tip of a knife, reached with narrowed eyes. Brother Waldiff, you got my message then? Sorry I couldn't swing by sooner, dear sister Charisme. It was just one thing after another. First I was in shackles, and the next, well, no, I was still in shackles, and I was being watched. And then the chief came and got me out, and I came here straight away. I knew you'd been waiting on me. Enough talking, or else we'll be here all night. So, we had a clear plan. We were going to wait for nightfall, slip into a shop, grab the goods, and leave. Even if the neighbours called the guard. There was a time to get away. But what happened? That bitch Irabeth showed up almost straight away. She knew we'd be there. Somebody betrayed us. And I have a good idea who. What do you have to say about that? Make it quick. Do you think Waldiff knows the name of the traitor? Charisme turns to you. She speaks. I thought Waldiff only brought you so he'd have someone to hide behind if things went south. Yes, he knows the name of the traitor. Every gang that Brother Waldiff has been a part of has very quickly come to an end. He kind of told us about that bit. Their hideout location was passed to the guards, or their competitors found out where they could ambush them. Waldiff is the only one to come out smelling of roses. Yeah, we kind of heard about that. If you think about it, you'll come up to the same conclusion as us. I'd have said that meant that Waldiff was cursed with finding friends among losers and screw-ups, but now that he's with elders, that must mean the curse has been broken. Now it depends. He was indeed fortunate to find himself in a party with me. On the other hand, he also ended up with a party with you. You're a cheeky blighter, aren't you, Camilla? My breath is burning. Why are you squabbling here instead of fleeing the city? With me pursed her lips, I'd be glad to leave, like the rest of my brothers and sisters, but in the family, there's nothing worse than betrayal, and it's something we do not forgive. We don't forgive anyone who lets traitors off the hook either. If I don't find the rat, my superiors, let's just say I'll wish I was burning in Calabrese. I want to keep living, so I'm going to take a chance. Shall I find out who the traitor here is? No one is leaving. Well, Jeff, what is your side of the story? What happened? What's there to tell? About a week ago, Sister Charisma got 6 of us together in this very basement. Me and those 5 over there, I mean. Waldraff Jake said towards the 5 tieflings kneeling by the wall. She rounds us up and she says she's got a score. Ancestors and Wonders, the one place that no one's ever been able to hit. The place that's guarded by a golem. But now a powerful troll that would knock out the golem just happened to come into our possession, along with a tip-off that the shop owner would be gone in a particular night. All 6 of us know about magic, and we know that any enchanted junk will sell for a pretty penny. So we're in. And the most important thing was that none of us was to be hanging around the shop ahead of the job. No one casing out the place, no calling attention to ourselves from either the golem or its master. This job was top secret. That's all true so far, go on. We did everything right. With the locks and the golem, I picked the lock, I remember it clear as day. Sister Dalna was on the lookout, Brother Melrun had the scroll. Doffy, Tavy and Barnier brought the sacks. We covered the windows and lit the torches. I remember scooping up rings and tossing them in the sack. And one right expensive one rolled away from me. I crawled under the table after it, and the next thing I know, Irabeth was there. Everybody scampered, but I was still on the table. Not my finest hour. I was going to wait it out, but there were those blockheads. Then those blockheads were dragging me out by my tail and put me in shackles. They took all my rings off, about 20,000 worth. And to add insult to injury, I never found the last one. In the end, I got busted over nothing. So they caught you, you poor thing, stripped you of your loot, and you didn't even manage to stash anything. This mate's pointingly polishing a knife. Where's the Moon of the Abyss, Brother Waldraff? What's the Moon of the Abyss? It was an amulet. It used to sit on a little cushion in the window of Ancestors and Wonders. Sterling silver, sparkled like a star. Fine piece of work. On one side there was a half moon, you know, a crescent, a waning moon, and in the middle there was a dark crystal, but like it was eclipsing the moon. Old man Felliman was so proud of the amulet. He used to say, "I'll never sell it. It's a jewel of my collection." Waldraff sighs unhappily. I used to go there to see what kinds of treasures there were in the world. There's nothing else to look at in Canabreth. People used to claim it was a powerful thing, but who'd say, if you ever stole a thing like that, you'd have the guards on you in no time. Everybody knew that you were always hanging around Ancestors and Wonders, drooling over that Moon of the Abyss. Did you think you could swipe it in all the commotion and keep it for yourself? Did you hope that we'd all be locked up and you'd get off scot-free, and with a fancy trinket to boot? Don't take me for a mug, Waldraff. I see right through you. Why would Irabeth arrest her own informant? Look, the words right out of my mouth, it doesn't make any sense. If I was a rat, I'd have kissed her on the hand, and being long gone by now. You know me, sister, I'm a curious fella, not an idiot. Why would I go against the family? So the fish in the cellar can have a nice Waldraff-sized dinner? The Moon of the Abyss is a pretty bauble, but to be sure, it's just an amulet, it isn't worth dying over. You knew where the best people would protect you, you knew you could pin the moon going missing on them, and now you come here with backup. You knew exactly what I was going to say to you. Only problem is no one's returned the amulet to Felliman. No, Philemon. Are you giving her a better cut? Is that it? Have you seen her? You think she'd take a cut of anything I offered? She can't be bought. She's like 3 Earls of Viomede, all rolled into one. He speaks the truth. You'll find some knights who'll take bribes, I'm sorry to say, but Irabeth Tirabade isn't one of them. Go on, Waldraff. That's the whole story. Waldraff crossed his arms, looking affronted. Some family this turned out to be. Just a name in the end. In a real family, people take each other at the... Well, until they've been lied to a lot. They don't throw around accusations. I didn't take the Moon of the Abyss. What am I going to do with it? You can't sell it to no crusaders. It's a special item. You can't wear it, it'll get nicked. Pretty to look at, sure, but it ain't that pretty. Is that important to your sister, Grace May? I'll find it. And I'll drag the traitor here by his horns, just so you don't end up at the bottom of the cellar. But do you know what you're going to owe me for that? An apology. Right here in front of everyone. You're going to apologise loud and clear so everyone hears it. You'll say, sorry, Waldraff, you're a good guy, and I was wrong about you. Fine, you're one of my people, which is why I'm going to give you time. Ah, Tiki, you're walking on my keyboard now. You have a way with words, Sister Charisma. Alright, so we're going hunting. We'll find the traitor. I clicked the wrong thing. Possibly you little bugger, I'm trying to click it before you walk on the keyboard again, aren't I? Collect all that and head back to speak with Irabeth. Prepare to fight. Alright. Fighting it is. But there's nothing there to fight. Oh buggers, the infantry's overfilled again. Right. Drop it all. There we are. Need to sell that off. Making ourselves overtired like that is not good. Alright, here we go. Tell me what you have. We'll talk to him some other time. No one's going to wear that, are they? What on earth is wrong with you? Go on down. You almost took my throat out with your claws. Don't want to use them at all. Don't want to use them at all. Right. Got rid of all the weight, so let's go talk to Irabeth. There's a traitor I'm trying to track down. Who is your informed among the tieflings? Irabeth acted browsing surprise. Canabris is threatened by a demon horde and you have time to spare it out to help out thieves? Irabeth sighs. I don't like this, but I hope you know what you're doing. I'll tell you everything I know. I did not see my informant's face. He slipped out of a dark alley, handed me a note and disappeared. Irabeth hesitates as she tries to remember. He had a cloak with a hood masking his face, but the long horns didn't fit under it. There should be a guardian column in Ancestors and Wonders, the shop they tried to rob. They only gave us Construct's code word just in case. The column itself was destroyed, but the head seems to be intact, so you can interrogate the thing and find out what it's all. The word is Handaridori. I have to go. Let me check something. I'm probably going to have to go pretty quick, actually. Just head out. Alright, I'm being paid, so I'm going to finish this up tomorrow, I guess. I've been Yorkie, the private Yorkie. You've been wonderful to you. I was been annoying, and this has been Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. See you on.